This happened one Halloween about 2 years ago when I was 22, and I still think about that night. I came off a long community shift running a kids' festival, costume contests, and dodgeball and candy trivia, and I was exhausted but agreed to scoop up my sister Savannah and my 11-year-old nephew Jackson so they could go trick-or-treat. Savannah was 15 and painstakingly finished her Raven costume, and Jackson looked ridiculous and proud as Sub-Zero. And we drove to a busy neighborhood where everyone seemed to have gone all out with decorations and treats. One old man even grilling hot dogs instead of handing out candy because he said kids needed protein. The night felt harmless and warm until, on our 10-minute walk back to the car, I noticed a figure standing alone in a yard with no porch lights. A hooded cloak, completely black, face hidden. And that niggled at me because I always scan my surroundings. I told the kids to stick close, but casual, then heard heavy boots behind us and turned to find the same figure now clearer. Tactical vest, rugged boots, spandex mask. The kind of outfit that makes you think of weapons, not Halloween. My heart sped up, so I whispered strict rules. Don't stop, don't look back, keep moving, and kept one eye on them. As we neared the car, I made a call, your move. I produced a Glock from my backpack and pointed it, demanding an explanation. The masked person peeled off a hood, a woman in her 30s, and instead of easing the tension, she answered in an oddly flat, rehearsed voice that she was an undercover cop there about a break-in, that my staring made her suspicious, and that lowering the gun would be wise. Nothing about the story added up. Why a cloak? Why face-covering tactical gear if undercover? Why stand with your back to a house while watching? And when her eyes flicked to mine, something malicious crawled in that smile. She said, "If you didn't have that gun this night, would have ended a lot differently." And at that moment, 4 more figures stepped out between houses in matching tactical gear, expressionless, moving with purpose. I shoved the kids into the car and drove off while the woman stood and smiled as if we were expected to be the punchline in some obscene rehearsal. The next days, I received a silent photo of my car from an unknown number. The police took a report, but couldn't pursue without a direct threat. And the homeowner of the yard swore he'd slept early and noticed nothing. I went paranoid for a while. Therapy, a Ring camera on my door, sleepless nights replaying details. Who watched us? How did they have my number? Why us? And 2 years later, I still think about how random-seeming nights can hide planning and how being alert and armed that night likely changed everything. If there's one practical takeaway I want people to grab, it's this. Trust your instincts and keep your people close. And please tell me in the comments if you've ever felt watched on a holiday night. How did you react? This one goes back to when I was 12, a family trip to a small Halloween resort about an hour away where cabins ringed a field and a hayride threaded the black woods at night. By day, it was candy apples and laughter and orange lights. By night, the woods looked like a mouth, and we all felt a little braver for hopping on the tractor-pulled wagon with fake zombies ready to jump out and scare people. But halfway through the ride, I noticed a man standing just beyond a torchlight at the trail's edge, not in costume with the others, just a dark jacket and cap low over his face, hands in pockets, completely still and watching like a statue. At first, I thought it was a worker. Then when I saw him again later by the bonfire, 30 feet away, not talking to anyone and not moving, something cold settled in my chest. My friend Ryan shrugged it off, but my skin crawled. And later that night, we dared each other deeper on the trail to be teenagers doing something dumb and brave, only to hear heavy adult footsteps behind us. Then a voice cut through the dark. "Hey there, boys." Calm and oddly intimate, the same man stepping into our beam, offering candy from his pocket like a lure. His smile was wrong, the kind that makes you run. So we took off and sprinted toward the lodge with our hearts slamming, and he chased for a heartbeat until we burst into the crowd by the bonfire with adults who rushed to help. But when they searched the path, the man had simply vanished, as if the woods had swallowed him whole. Police took statements and swept the property, but found no one matching his description. Weeks afterward, I kept thinking I saw him at the side of the road, outside stores, anywhere I went, and for months I slept badly. The real terror in my mind wasn't the face I glimpsed, but that he might have been waiting for someone who didn't run. A reminder that crowds and fake scares can mask someone who is watching for a different reason. If you ever see someone standing separate from the fun, tell an adult and get to the light. And please share below if you ever had a Halloween that stopped being just a holiday. My name is Roger, and this happened on a chilly Halloween when I was 29. I was home handing out candy and planning to watch a scary movie alone because my girlfriend was out of town, and the night felt harmless until faint knocks started at first on the side door and then at the back. Little noises that I blamed on pranksters until I crept to the kitchen window and saw a man crouched by the deck, cheap cracked mask pushed back, a crowbar in his hand, deliberate and not hurried, like he knew I was inside and didn't care. I whispered to 911 and stayed low as the operator told me to stay quiet. But then I heard the sickening pop of the basement screen being pried off and glass cracking, and that's when the terror was pure and cold, because this wasn't some opportunistic thief. It felt planned, personal, and minutes stretched like hours. I clutched a kitchen knife, kept the dispatcher on the line, and felt the house encircled by footsteps until flashing red and blue lit the blinds and officers burst in. The man bolted, but was tackled in my driveway just yards from my porch, and when they arrested him, I saw his bag and what he'd brought: crowbar, duct tape, zip ties. And later, the police told me he had a long record and was suspected in cases of disappearances. Afterwards, I can't listen to knocking the same way, and every Halloween, my neck tightens at every sound, because if the cops had been 5 minutes later, I'm not sure I'd be here to tell it. Take this as a warning. If something feels wrong, don't open the door, call for help, and share this in the comments if you lock the door differently now, or if one knock ever put you on edge.